Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Shirley's Wind Down Tuesday. Thank you for stopping by. And thank you to all the ones that will be looking at the replay. So I don't know who is in here yet. For some reason I have all of my old all of my old chats in here, which is kind of crazy. Don't understand that. But anyway, um, I'll see when people get on. Hello, looks like I have one person in, but I don't know who it is yet because my chat thing is not showing up correctly for some reason. I have all of the old ones in here. So let me see what I can do about that. But anyway, hello, welcome. If you can put something in here and let me know who you are so I'll know exactly who is on. Um, I just don't know how that's going to work and why it's like that. That's never happened before. Well, it is straight up 8 o'clock, so I'm sure there are going to be some people joining us. And once that happens, maybe I'll get a new chat thread. Okay, here we go. One. Hello. That is going to be an issue if I can't get the chat. So it looks like there's two people in here, but it's not showing up. If you can say something, that would be great. Then I can check and see what may be the issue here. I've never had this happen before. That is so interesting. Wonder what's going on. I don't see my setup either. Something's not quite right. I'm going to back out of here for a minute. Let me see what I can do and see if I can't correct what the problem is. Because I see there's four people in here now, but I'm not seeing your chat. I'm not seeing anything. So something's not doing what it's supposed to do, and I don't know what that is. But hello, anyway, I know that you're here. I just can't see anything right now. New comments are down here. Okay. Now I'm seeing Terry and Kristen. Is that correct? Are you guys on here? So it looks like I'm getting my new chats now. So let me know if that's correct. Hi Terry, hi Ann, hi Kristen. So that appears to be my new chat finally showing up, which is great. Um, but I have another issue. Okay, you can see me. I just couldn't see the chat, which is important because I don't know who's on and I don't know what you guys are saying, but they're showing up now. Um, I don't know what the deal is. I've never had that happen before, but doesn't matter. You're showing up now, so that's good. Looks like I have about 6 people on here. One, two, three, four. I see four. And I don't see my setup because I have. Tonight we're going to talk about hooping cap. And this cap that I have on my head, I did yesterday. And if any of you had an opportunity to see the video that I just put up today, then that is where I did this hat and another hat. And I'm working on part one of a hooping series, um, how not to be fearful or to be fearless of hooping caps using the Brother Flat Brim hooping system. And I did put up a partial video to show you guys, but I am not finding my setup. For some reason, it is missing on my screen for me to bring it in. So that is kind of crazy here. Can't wait to talk about the hat. Love doing them. Always need more tips. Okay. Okay. I hope I'm going to be able to bring that video in because right now I don't see my setup and I might have to. I don't know if I don't want it. I'm not going to in the. I might move off the screen for a minute, so you all just be patient. Okay, I am back. Another jacket on the wall. Yeah, I don't know how many jackets I had. That one I did a couple of years ago. I know. So yeah. I have so many jackets that, like I said, if a jacket comes in this house, it's going to get something on the back of it at some point. It doesn't last too long without having anything on the back of it. But this is the craziest thing. I have no idea of why I have, I am not able to bring in my video because I don't have my setup button, which is weird. Okay, there we go. Hallelujah. I tell you, this modern stuff sometimes can get foolish, and I meant to have this already here. So what I have, okay. So I have the video. And what time is it now? It is 8:09. It's about 8 people in here who's come in that I have not seen. Think I have. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and start the video. Now, we can still chat as you're watching the video. So if you have any questions or anything of what you're seeing, go ahead and put a comment in here, and then I can respond back to you either with a comment typed in or verbally. But the video is about 19 minutes long, and I tried my best to get it as short as possible, but that was difficult to do because the video that I actually put up on my channel is an hour long, 58 minutes long, and I did two hats. I did the one that's on my head, as I said, and then I also did this one. Gotta figure out where everything is. Okay, this is the one that I did. Hopefully you all can see it, but I did two, and I'm going to do two more. I'm working now on doing a bucket hat, which I've never done before, and I'm working on doing a straw hat, which I had planned to do a month ago before I got sick. I had purchased my hat, and then I got sick, so I never got around to doing it. And now that getting ready to do it, I have seen several videos where people have embroidered on straw hats, and so I'm like, I'm not copying. It was something I had planned to do anyway. I just hadn't gotten around to it. So, and then my bucket hat I have on the machine, and I'm going to have to do those with my Durkee Easy Frame. I can't use a regular frame. And if you've seen any of the videos, you can see that they don't use the regular frame. So anyway, hi TR and hi Mary. Thanks for joining. And don't worry about being late. You're never late. Whenever you show up, you're on time. And grab you something to drink, sit back. We're just going to have a little movie. I'm gonna show you this little video again. Like I said, it's about 19 minutes long, so hopefully you don't get bored. Hopefully you will be learning something. The one thing that I learned, which is kind of crazy, is when I'm talking to people regularly, like I'm talking to you and I'm talking to people face to face, I don't really talk slow. I don't think. But I noticed on the video I'm talking so slow, and that makes the video that much longer. I was like, why am I talking like this? I'm going to have to do better. But anyway, here we go. And this is just something that I extracted from the video that I put on my channel. So here we go. And hi, Becky. Sorry, you're not late. You had three grandkids here for Colorado for the month and then visit. Well, enjoy your grandkids. That is wonderful. And thank you for joining me anyway, even though you got the kids around. But we're going to look at a video about hooping hats with the Brother flat brim cap hooping system. So here we go. that are needed to do the cap. This is the Brother flat brim hooping system, and it consists of 4 parts. And this is what you're going to need for your caps. And of course I have the cap there, and I also have a piece of stabilizer that you'll need. So let me start off with, this is called the upper frame, and this part is called the lower frame, and the back part is important because you have your lock and your unlock, which I will talk to you about when I'm hooping. But this is the frame that the hat actually goes on. So you have your upper frame and your lower frame. This is the cap jig. This is what you put the cap on in order to get it hooped to go onto the machine. This is the cap driver, and this is the arm. This is the driver, and I'll show you all of that when we're ready to do it. But that's what attaches to the machine. You take your A arm or the B arm, whichever one you have on there now. You have to take that off. Then you have to attach the driver. And then there's one other piece. This particular piece here, the jig, attaches to a table or the apparatus that came, the hooping apparatus, I can't think of another name for it, that came with my cart and is attached to my cart. But if you didn't get one, then you can attach it to a table edge like here. You can attach it to something like this. But I'm going to attach mine to the one that's attached to my machine. So I will show you that when I go over there. But these are the things that you need. Again, the cap jig, the upper, lower frame, and the driver. And that's what you'll need for your cap. And then of course the cap itself and stabilizer and whatever design that you have. Now when it comes down to the design, it is recommended. Now with this particular hoop, the safety measurement that Brother has allowed is approximately 1 inch from the brim. And that can be overrode if you have if you use a hack, and I'll tell you about that later. I'm not going to use the hack, but I will tell you about it. But 1 inch from the brim is pretty standard. So when you're looking at your cap, the design probably will, the bottom of it probably will be right around here. Then it'll go up. And then they recommend that the width or the height be around 2 3/8. And I think the width can be as wide as 5 1/8. So 5 1/8 this way, 2 3/8 that way, and approximately 1 inch from the brim. So that's pretty much it. So if you're going 1 inch from the brim to 2 3/8, you're just below these holes right here. So that's pretty tall. That's not bad. Now if you use a hack and you can go almost 1/4 of an inch to the brim, then of course you can get a much taller design if that's your desire to do so. And a lot of men, that's what they want with their caps. I'm fine with where mine lands, and I know about the hack. I don't have one of the apparatus that they talk about that I'll tell you about. And then there's another one that I was informed about, which could probably do if I tried it. And I might, but not on this particular demo. So let me get everything situated where I can take it over to the machine. So let me show you how to hoop this hat using this system. The first thing you want to do is get your stabilizer and put it on here. Now there is this in the middle is the middle of your hat. You should be the middle of the stabilizer, and then you have a piece over here and a piece over here that the stabilizer goes under, and then out here you have ridges that the stabilizer can it makes indentation into the stabilizer to keep the stabilizer stable. So let me go ahead and do this. So you just slide it on, pretty much is how it goes. Well, maybe I need to go here first, and then here. Slide your stabilizer in there, get it in there as good as you can, and then with your thumb you can go down and perforate it. So your stabilizer is now on here and it is stable. So that's the first thing. The next thing is you get your hat. You can loosen the band if you choose. You got to make sure you pull out your sweatband. That's very important. Now, we're going to put this top frame on here before we put it here. Now, the top frame is notched. There's a notch right here that's taller than the other notch. That's your mid section. That's the middle of the hat, and it goes right over this seam. So that way you know that your hat is aligned properly. So you just kind of put it on here the best you can. It gets a little awkward, at least it does for me, but I try to make sure that when I put it on, I know that it is here. And it may move a little bit in the process, but you can manipulate that. And again, underneath, make sure you have your sweatband up. So now that I have that on here, my next job is to take this and put it on here. Now these two things on the side will go down into the frame, and I mentioned lock and unlock and lock. You got to make sure that it is turned to lock, because being in lock, when I get ready to put that top frame on, it goes into these slots, and once you push it in, you'll hear a click. And when you hear the click, you know that it is locked into this frame. So that's why you have to have it on lock. The only time you have it on unlock is after you've hooped it and you've stitched and you're ready to take it off. So you have this on lock. So I take this, and it can be a little awkward. At least it is for me, but I try to get it positioned. And then the other thing, of course, this is pointing towards you, this part here. And position it where it's going to go in on both sides. Make sure that you got it, and make sure this is where your middle is, and you push down. And you can hear the clicking. So I pushed it down. It is now locked in on both sides. You have your bars here. This part is locked in. Bar here, this side is locked in. So it is locked in. Your hat is now hooped. Sometimes I have gotten a little pucker, which it looks like I got a little pucker here. I'm going to try to straighten that out a little bit. Well, I got to unlock it because as I'm looking at it, I see that I don't have it in the center. So I'm bringing it up a little bit and I'm moving it over so it is lined up on that center. And it's all the way back. See, all the way back. Then push down. Get it locked. So I have it centered. I have it all the way back. Centered. Locked. It's ready to go. So this hat has been hooped. And that's all it is to hooping. Then you put it on your frame and you put it on your machine and you're ready to go. Now it came with some clips. I don't have the clips, smaller clips, but if it's locked good, you don't really need that. So that part is done. The next part happens over by the machine. So let me go over there. So now that you have the driver, you need to put it on. Now this bar is going to go on top of this bar here that my hand is on. Hopefully you can see it, where the screws were. And you're going to line up the holes where the other screws came out of and down into the pins that are sticking up. So you have to slide it on. It goes through here. Then you go to the back. This is connected to this pin. I connected the other, so they're both sitting in the pins. It's on here, so the only thing I need to do now is do the 2 screws on top and the 2 screws on bottom, and your driver will be on your machine. Now I always like to use my little screwdriver to tighten it tighter than what I do with my thumb. It doesn't have to be super, super tight where you can't get it off. I just don't want it to move. So you do the same over here. It's just like putting your A arm on or your B arm on. Then you tighten that. Then the screws underneath, you screw those up and tighten those. So you got 4 screws that have to be tightened. 2 on top, 2 on bottom. Now that you've done that, your driver is on here tight and ready for your hat frame. And then you'll be ready to do your design and start stitching. So I got a little ahead of myself because I hooped this over there on the table when you're actually supposed to hoop it here. So I'm going to do it the way it's supposed to be done because that's the purpose of the jig. So let me take this off so I can show you the correct way of doing it. And that's put your frame on. I'm going to go ahead and put my stabilizer on here. And it doesn't have to go under there if you don't want it to. You can or you can't. It's up to you. I've done it both ways. I think I'm just going to, because sometimes that's hard to get it back underneath these things here. And get it. Let me see if I can get it. Okay, I got it. So, this is the bottom frame. Top frame. Jig. Jig holder. Rollers. Middle. Middle. Openings. The openings go underneath the rollers. You take your two thumbs after you have it aligned centered and push it on. So the rollers are inside of there. It's in the middle. Your hat frame is on here. So you stick your hat on. Make sure your sweatband is back. You take your top frame, do the same thing, make sure you got it centered. These two bars are facing you, and then you center it, but you got to make sure that it's going to drop down into those slots. And push down. Everything is centered. I got it as far back as I want it to be because I want it to be right at the brim. So I got to make sure I got it there. I got it centered. So I got it where I want it. Now I'm going to go ahead and push down and lock it. Oh, I forgot to put the lock on. Now, I'm going to push down and lock it. Now, I got to make sure my hat is not puckering. Make sure it's not puckering. Make sure I got the brim where I want it. It's centered. Everything is fine. Now, lock it. It is locked. Now I can take it off and I can take it to my machine. Now if you want to clip it, put a clip on it, you can do that. I'm not going to do that. But I have it hooped the way I want it hooped. Centered. Smooth it out a little bit if I can. Now it's ready to go onto the driver that I just put on the machine. Okay. So that is the end of what the part that I wanted to show because it shows doing it showed what the equipment is. I named the part and what they're for. Then I hooped it twice because, like I said, the first time I hooped it over on my table, which I've done that several times before because I always, for some reason, I get busy and I forget. But your jig is supposed to go onto the jig holder that is attached to my machine, which came with my machine, and it stays on my machine all the time. What I'm doing, it's screwed onto my machine. The cart, not my machine, but the cart. The cart came with the jig and the holes in it and the screws and everything to tighten it down. And that is the purpose of it for the hats because um, I don't know if I mentioned it on this particular part of the video, but I got my hat frame system when I got my machine. It came with it, everything. I didn't pay extra for it. So I don't even know what they sell them for. But anyway, you put the jig on, then you put your frame on, and then of course you do the hat and you do the top part and you adjust it and make sure you slide it down and make sure it's always locked, which for some reason I was not remembering it was locked. But that is something important. It won't click and it won't hold if you don't turn the screw and make sure it's locked. So then after you do that, you take it off. If you've already put your driver on, now with the driver, which is basically the frame that will hold it's the arm that will hold the cap frame, so it will maneuver on the machine and it rotates. And so you put that on just like you put on a regular arm. Like I mentioned, it has several holes in there: the holes for the screws and the holes for the slot. And as long as you position them above the bar where you normally put your regular arm and put it in the slot, then all you have to do is screw two screws from the top, two screws from the bottom, and your driver is on. Then you get your hat frame where your hat is already hooped, stick it on there, and I always do a tracing. And I didn't show that part on this particular video because again, I was trying to keep it not as long. It was already 19 minutes long. I was trying to get it down to 15, but I just couldn't get it. But a lot of things were left off. So what I do recommend, if anybody is interested, to go back and watch the full video that I uploaded to my channel today. So it is the whole video from start to finish is on my channel. And so some of the things that I didn't mention will be mentioned on that particular video. But what I didn't mention on this video was the LCD panel and the information that's on there. Because I am using a genuine brother hat system, the machine recognizes it. And so you'll see the icon at the top and recognizing the fact that this is a brother hoop, and your design will automatically flip, so you don't have to worry about rotating it. If you use a aftermarket hat system like the Gentech, like the Hoop Tech Gen X2, then you will have to manually flip your design, and if you use the little piece that comes with it where you can uh, trick the machine so you can get closer to the brim, you're going to have to make sure that you're not hitting your frame. So, of course, do your tracing, which I always do anyway, to make sure all of that is taken care of. And so that's pretty much it. And no, Marissa, I have not tried to do a visor. Um, I don't think that that would be too difficult, especially if you're doing the using a Durkee fast frame, which easy frame, which I'm going to be doing the bucket hat that I'm doing. And I don't think I have a visor. If I have a visor anywhere in my apartment, I might just pull that thing out and try to add that to my next video if I have one, just to see how to do it. But my understanding in my head now, I'm not going to do the brim. I'm going to do that little part up here. So it wouldn't be any different than doing the big parts. You just make sure that the design fits in there. And that would be it. And again, I wouldn't be using a capping system. I would be using the Durkee Easy Frame. Okay, TR, you're saying, what are you saying? Do you happen to know if the setup is the same for single needle free arm machines like Alliance or Persona? I'm not sure that particular uh, capping system fits that. Now, what I have been told, or what I've seen rather on video, if your frame is, use the phone, if your frame, not your frame, your LCD panel is horizontal like that, then you should be able to use the hat system. If it, I said horizontal, I meant vertical. If it's vertical like this, then you should be able to use it. If it is horizontal like this, then it's not supposed to work. That is what I have um, I've seen stated on other videos that talks about the cap system. But other than that, I don't know. So, and you're saying it's the same on the persona. Okay, because like I said, if it's going a vertical like that, it's supposed to be where you can use it. And and love that it automatically flips on my brother. Yes, because I could see me forgetting to do that, like I have done using my easy frames, my Durkee easy frames. I was stitching on my little great granddaughter's little cap and had it all set up and pretty and everything and started stitching and looked at that thing and it was totally upside down because when you take it off and you put it on there, it's facing the other way. So that's how it goes. Hi Karen from Tampa. How are you from Tampa Bay? How are you doing? Thanks for checking in. We just finished looking at about a 19-minute video of me hooping a cap and just to talk about how the brother flat brim hooping system works with doing caps. And you said you have the same hat and cap frame for the persona. Okay, good. So you're familiar with it, and I'm pretty sure that you are like me. I would assume to say that it's quite simple. Now I have to tell you, this is a Richardson 112 trucker cap. I've never stitched on one before. The cap that I did in the video, and actually I did this and it's in the video as well. So if you see the whole video, you'll see me do this one too. But I've never done the Richardson hat. I've always been told or heard on YouTube and Facebook that they're difficult to handle. People don't like using them. They're all kinds of stuff. So I was curious since I'm doing this hooping cap system, be fearless, go ahead and dive in and do one. I decided to go ahead and get one, and I did. And to be honest about it, it wasn't any different than the regular cap. The only thing is, this part is thicker and stiffer. And I think that's where people are most concerned about it because it's not pliable like these. These are, and this is a very inexpensive cap. So, but anyway, you see how pliable this is. So it's more, you can manipulate it more. This one, it ain't going nowhere. And I think that's where the people had the concern about. But I didn't have any issues with it. I hooked it the exact same way and it stitched the exact same way. There was absolutely no difference in stitching on this hat than it was on the other hat. So I don't know. Um, for me, I didn't see it being an issue. And TRU said it is the hooping system is about $1,000. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what they're charging. Something crazy, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what they're charging. But like I said, since I didn't buy it, I couldn't speak to what it cost. Now, with that being said, the Hoop Tech Gen X2 hoop system, if you get, now there's so many parts that you can get. But if you get the system the bare minimum that you need to actually do caps with, it's around $800 total. So if the brother uh, hooping system is 1,000, then maybe the Hoop Tech Gen X2 is less expensive. Now, I don't have one, so I've never used it. I have seen several demonstrations. I would love to have that hat system if I was really doing a lot of hats because it seems like it does a wonderful thing, and I think it will go back further. And I do know that they have, if I am correct, they have different attachments and things, where you add up more money, where you can do the sides and the back and so forth and so on. Now, I have done cap front and back. I haven't done the sides, but the clips that I have that I got to do shoes with can also be used to do the side. Now, the design is going to be real level, but you can do the side. And depending upon what kind of hat it is, you can use a mighty hoop because if I'm not mistaken, it's been a while since I did. It's been over a year since I did it. I did several caps for my son, and he got them from ERA, ERA. So they're expensive hats. They're like 30 some odd dollars per hat. So they're not the cheap stuff. And I did some hats for him, and I put his logo on the front, which this is. Let me. This is his logo for his company. So I'm wearing his shirt tonight. So next, what is that? Next to you apparel, and what else is it? Embrace fashion. Next to you apparel, embrace fashion. So these is his logo. No, I did not do it because when he got this and started doing this was when I was just getting started. And I have done his logo and have put them on his backpacks and on his hats and made patches and all that kind of stuff since he had these shirts done. But he had these shirts done with some embroidery company in Florida. So anyway, that. And TRU was saying, what were you saying about, oh no, I didn't get any with my alliance, and Karen, is that the same system that was surely demonstrated? I'm thinking she said it is the same one. And who said their cap hoop will do the sides? Which one do you have, Becky? You said yours will do the sides. Because, like I said, I don't have any other hoop other than what I have as far as the cap system is concerned. And I did my son's back. I put his website address on the back of his hat and his logo on the front. And I didn't have any issues. And I don't know if I did it with the easy frame or I did it with the mighty hoop. I cannot remember. But yeah, yeah. I have several of these shirts, and he doesn't have any in mine though. He needs to be wearing my shirt. We were going to a convention together, so wanted to represent. So he got me several shirts and stuff. Um, so 2.38 by 14 for PR 1055X. What is that referencing? You had by 14 what? 2.38 times by 14. I think I must have missed a conversation. Okay, Karen, you're gonna watch the whole video tomorrow. That's good because it's uh TRUS, do you happen to know if the setup is the same? Okay, we already asked that question. So okay. So I guess you were referring to this where your cap hoop will do the sides. I'm assuming that was the answer to your question. So are you saying that the width will go all the way around, like 14 inches? That's almost like in a complete circle. That's pretty cool. But that's what kind of system do you have, if you don't mind sharing? Because I don't know. That's pretty cool to be able to just go all the way. The 2.38 tall, the 2.38 tall, then will stitch, I think, 7 inches from center to the side. Gotcha. Okay. So it'll start here and go 7 inches that way and then 7 inches that way, which equals 14. Got you. Because this one, if I'm not mistaken, it's 5 and 1/8 is the parameters for that particular hooping system, and 2 and 3/8. Because actually, I believe it's this design, this hustling every day. I had it just a tad bit taller, and when I put the design on my machine, and I had already put my driver on and everything, the machine told me I needed a larger hoop. So that let me know that I had it too tall. So I had to bring it in a little bit. Even though I thought when I did it on Embroider that I had all of the measurements correct. But like I said, when I put it on the machine kindly told me it was too tall. So I had to reduce it a little bit, but it was okay, no big deal. You can't really tell. But it's not going to let you go wacky crazy unless you do the hack. So back to the hack, and I do talk about the hack on the video as well. If you have the Gentech hoop system, the HoopTech Gen X2 hooping system, part there's a little metal piece that comes with that system. I've seen it demo, and you can attach it to our 1055 machines or the Persona or any of the machines that can use this hoop. You can attach it where the sensor is, and I just discovered where the sensor is today because I was like, oh, where is this sensor thing? And Bill Nicholson was nice enough to send me a picture of a gentleman that was using a hat, and I looked at the picture trying to figure out where is this thing. And so there is a little sensor that is on your machine. This little piece of metal slips in front of it and it pushes it down a little bit and you screw it in. Therefore, it tricks the machine into thinking it no longer has that hooping that hoop on, but it's a flat hoop, so it allows you to go as big as you want, I guess. So that could be troublesome if you do not pay attention, because two things can happen. One, you can rub your brim, and if it rubs too much, you know how you've seen the raggedy part here. So that's one issue. The other thing is the needle may hit your hoop if you aren't careful. So you definitely have to check the parameters if you're going to use that hat. Now, the picture that he actually sent me wasn't using that particular piece that you get from the hooping system from Hoop Tech. I've seen that being done on Hoop Tech site. They have demos and stuff every so often when they have their sales and stuff. They have a whole 2 or 3 days of demoing all their products and so forth and so on. It's really interesting. So if you ever run across when they're doing them, you might want to watch it. And usually, if you watch it for those days, you can pick out what equipment that they have that you might be interested in purchasing. And if you purchase it during that time frame, then you usually get a discount because that's where I got my hoops that I use to do my boots. If anybody's seen my video for my boots, I got the Hoop Tech clamps from them during one of their specials and got the discount and so forth and so on. But anyway, I digress. The picture that Bill sent me was a guy that used one of the black binder clips, with the black part, and then you got the clip. Let me see if I have one. I don't have one where I can reach it. Anyway, I think it's the smaller one because I kind of put the larger one on there just to see if it fit and it's too big. But he used that to push down the sensor, and the clip part, the silver part that comes out, he put that where he could screw the screw down on it to keep it in place, and that worked, and it tricked the machine allegedly. I've not seen the video. I've not seen it. I just saw this picture, and it's interesting, but I'm very cautious about my machine, and I haven't gotten the nerves up to try it. But I think I'm going to do it. Um, Tiara, don't know. I just joined in a few minutes ago. Shirley, is your brand that strap down in front seam by Brim that hard plastic? Wait a minute. Let me see what you're saying. Is your band that's strapped down in the front seam by the brim that hard plastic teeth or bright silver teeth? Hard plastic gray teeth. That's what comes with the flat brim. And the one that I have is what it's supposed to be their new one. I think it's been out maybe 3 years now because I've had mine too, because I've had my machine too, and it was brand new when I got my machine. So that's what it is. And then you said, what is this sensor? There is, and I just discovered that today, and it's on your machine. If you have the 10, well, I'm sure it's on any of the PR systems, the PR series rather, the 1000, the Persona, all of that. There's a little silver metal prong that is in the back where you put your arm on and all of that stuff back there, and it moves. I never knew that. I never knew that. So when I got the picture, and because I was doing the video, I got nosy and I wanted to see where is this sensor because I did not know that there was a sensor, but obviously it has to be one. That's why the machine tells you when your hoop is too big and all that crazy stuff. And another thing that makes sense, I don't know if you guys have ever had that, but this happened to me when I first got my machine and I ruined a jacket. If for some reason your arm gets loose, you will get an error message saying that you need a larger hoop on when you don't. I mean, I was using this hoop. The whole thing was almost. I was 3/4 of a percent of being done with this beautiful butterfly on the back of my jacket, beautiful pink jacket, and I have not found a pink jacket that's the same color since. And I've been looking, and it was so pretty. It stitched out so well. My machine was brand new. I think this was one of the first projects that I did. But I did not realize that if you get that error message saying that your hoop is too, you need a larger hoop, 90%, 99% of the time is because your arm is loose. And all you got to do is tighten it up. I did not know that. Found that out the hard way, but that's all you have to do is tighten it up. So it makes sense because if your arm gets loose, your sensor can't read it, and therefore that error message comes up. Learn something new all the time. So I learned that. But yes, we do have a sensor on our machine. Okay. And you said, are you talking about sensors in the back where those dark gray plastic screws go? Yes, it's not on, it's actually on the machine itself. It's not, it's back behind that. Yeah. And you probably have seen it. And okay, you say if your machine bounces a little, the screws can loosen. They can. That's why I always use the screwdriver that comes with the that came with your machine in your little toolbox. I keep it on my cap jig that stays on my machine. I have it hooked on there, and every time I put my arm on, I always use that screw. I don't just depend upon me twisting it because I have arthritis in my hand anyway. I don't think it's going to get on there tight enough. So I use the screwdriver to make sure that it's tight, and because it will bounce and it will loosen up the screws. Did not know that in the beginning. And another thing, which I'm sure all of you are aware of, if it bounces too much, you might need to slow the stitches down, which um, reminds me of when I was doing my cap and I was setting everything up, my thread colors and so forth and so on, and I was checking to see what speed I was going to do my stitches on, and I didn't want to do them, at a high speed, and so I was just checking. I had it already on 400, so I clicked it to see if it'd go higher, and it went to 450. Then I clicked it, it went to 500. Clicked it again, it went to 550. Clicked it again, it went to 600, and then it stopped. So the parameter for the speed, which is the stitches per minute, the FPM that's on there, the parameter of speed when you're doing your cap is 450 stitches per minute increments, 400 to 600. So the lowest you can go is 400. The highest you can go is 600, which I wouldn't go. I would not even go 600. Period. Like I don't even stitch my machine at 1,000. And I've read and heard and seen people talk and say that they don't recommend going at 1,000. Now you can do 1,000 stitches per minute. That's what our machine will do. The highest stitch, the fastest stitch, or highest stitch I've done is 800. I think 800. And I didn't do that for a long time. I just did it just to see how it was going to go, and then I backed that puppy down because I'm not in that big of a hurry. Even when I have a big project and I got a lot to do, I don't trust it to go that fast. I like to look at my. I'm like Jeanette now. I like to look at my stitching because if I can catch a problem before it becomes a big problem, that's going to save time and money. So if I'm not distracted doing something else that I need to do, I'm pretty much watching it. And I don't want it going so fast that, it's all screwed up before you do anything about it because taking stitches out is no fun. Some things you can't take stitches out of. And breaking needles aren't fun. And I don't like all that vibration. I don't want to get my machine timing off and all of that stuff. So I don't like all that vibration and stuff. I will slow my machine down if I hear too much popping, too much noise or whatever. Because you'll see on this video, I ended up changing my needle because when I did the blue cap and I was using the gold color thread, my needle was, I think it was a 7511, but it might have been something else because I did do some stitching and I used to keep up when I change a needle, because if I only use it for something, like if I use a metallic needle just for something small, I don't throw away that metallic needle because I don't think that, I mean, needles cost money. I'm not throwing away the needle and I didn't use it that much. So, but I used to keep tabs of when I put the needle in and what the needle was and what number it's on. So if I need to switch it out or whatever, I've gotten lazy. I haven't done that anymore. But I knew it was a. I was pretty sure it had to be a 75, 11 sharp is what I think it was. But I didn't remember when I put it in. But it was making all that. It was making some popping noise and stuff. So I said, let me change that needle. And then I thought about the fact that this hat is kind of dense, thick, and everything. I said maybe I need to use a bigger needle. So I put the 9014 in. So that's what I did with this particular one. And I know it's on my number three because that's where my gold color thread is. So I'm going to take the, no, I'm not going to take the 9014 out because when I do my straw hat, I need a 9014 needle because that's what was recommended by the tutorial that I watched, that you stitch your hat with a 9014 needle. So I will be keeping that in, and probably have to put it in a couple other places because I think I got some different colors that's going to be on my hat. But anyway, that's all that's in the video too, where I switched out. I didn't show you switching it out. I just told you I switched it out to a 9014 needle, and it still popped a little bit. But then what I noticed that it only popped in certain places. So I think when it was close to the top, because it started on this H here, because that was the first letter that stitched out was the H. And when it was at the top part of the H, it was popping a lot. And then as it moved down, I noticed the popping noise stop. So I just think it was just from the hat itself. I don't know. But I always try to pay attention to that kind of stuff. Anytime my machine makes noise that is unusual, I try to figure out what's going on. Because a lot of times it's telling you it needs to change the needle, it needs to change the like crazy. It needs to change the needle or even your thread. I had a situation when I was stitching something and my thread kept breaking. I kept getting bird nest and I did everything. I cleaned out from under the needle plate. I changed my bobbin. I dusted all out and everything, changed the bobbin. I changed the needle. I rethreaded the thread and it kept breaking. So I just changed the thread completely to another spool. Stop breaking. So it was the thread. Sometimes you just have to do that. Sometimes it is the thread, but you have to try. It's trial and error. You just have to figure out, kind of what the problem is. I guess I kind of get that from nursing when you have to listen to people with their symptoms and complaints and stuff and kind of figure out what's really going on and what possibly could be the situation and then go from there. So, trial and error, try this, try this, try this, try this and see what happens. Um, so Karen, you say you like cruising around 700. Well, you go, girl. I stay in the 600 range. That's usually where I am. 5 to 6, maybe 8, but never above 8. But 5, 6, 7, 8 every now and then, depending what it is that I'm stitching. But that cruising on that 700, you go, girl. And what was your question? Hey, Jack, how you doing, Jackie? Glad you came back. I don't think I've seen you in a minute. Are you going to do a tutorial on stitching a straw hat? Yes. My the video that I just put up where I did my two caps is a two-part series, and I mentioned that in the particular video. I did the two caps first. My second part two video is going to be straw hat and a bucket hat. And somebody asked about a visor, and if I can find a visor in this house somewhere, I might do the visor. I don't know. I don't have a visor. It wasn't planned, so I put it that way. So I didn't make sure I had a visor. But if I can find a visor, I'll do a visor as well. But I'm definitely doing a straw hat, and I already have my straw hat. I bought my straw hat about a month ago before I got sick to do a straw hat, and didn't get around to it, of course. Now that I'm ready to do the straw hats, I see straw hat tutorials everywhere. I said, doggone it, they beat me. But yes, I will be doing the straw hat, and I will be doing a bucket hat. Now, I'm not seeing anybody do a bucket hat. So I'm doing the bucket hat flying at the seat of my pants. I already have it hooped. I'm going to use Jerky Easy Frame, and of course sticky stabilizer, and I'm pinning it because I don't want it on the brim. I want it on the cloth part. And a bucket hat is, you know, it's a lot of work to try to get it smoothed out and everything on the frame. So wish me luck. I will be videoing that. I like I said, I do have it already hooped, so you won't see me hooping it, but you will see it hooped and then on the machine and how it's going to stitch out. And then on the straw hat, I will go from the beginning to the end. I will show you how to set up the wording or whatever design is going to be in embroidering. There's a particular way of doing it if you want to do the curves of your hat. So I will demonstrate that first, and then of course hoop the hat. And I think I'm going to be using, because I've already measured it out, I think I'm going to be using my 8 by 8 Jerky Easy frame. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing tonight, but I will explain the rationale behind all of that in my video. So it will be coming. I'm going to do it tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll get it done early enough tomorrow where I can get it edited and uploaded tomorrow. So look for it tomorrow night. That's not the safest time I can tell you. You can look for the video tomorrow night. So hopefully, if nothing goes wrong, that's my plan. And so, Jackie, I am good. I'm better. Thanks for asking. I was sick and I'm a lot better now. And I last Tuesday I wasn't drinking wine. I was drinking hot tea, but I'm drinking wine tonight. So anybody joining me, get a glass, take a sip, enjoy it because I missed out on my wine. This is the first glass of wine I've had in over a month. So it's my Stella Rosa. That's my favorite wine, Stella Rosa. And they have so many different flavors. When I first started drinking Stella Rosa, mm, 5, 6 years ago now, when I discovered it, I went to Total Wine store and I told them the type of wines that I like, and they suggested getting Stella Rosa because I think I was having some kind of get together or something. I don't know, but I was looking for some good wine, and they recommended Stella Rosa, and I've been a fan ever since. I get all the different flavors, and I do get their Oscar Moscato because I love Moscato. This one that I have is a mixed berry, and it's good. I love sweet wine. I don't like dry wine. I can't stand Merlot. Don't even bring a Merlot anywhere near me. I don't drink red wine. It gives me headaches. The tannins mess with me. I drink white wine, rosé. I will drink a sweet red wine, but I'm not doing anything with Merlot. Um, but I love my Stella Rosa. Okay, you saw the replay where I was not. So yeah, that was last Tuesday where I wasn't drinking wine. That was the first Jackie. I'm talking to you. That was the first live that I've done since I was out because I missed two weeks. And I wanted to. I did not want to cancel, but I was nowhere near anyway in any kind of shape able to sit up straight and talk to anybody. It was a rough patch, and I was surprised that it was COVID. To be honest, but I thought I just had a cold. I thought I just had a cold, but it got progressively worse, and I wasn't getting any better. So that's when everybody started saying, "Oh, you probably got COVID. You got COVID." And so when we checked it, I had COVID. So I went to the ER, and they confirmed it and all of that. And luckily, since I had all my vaccinations and boosters and so forth and so on, they said that that way um, I didn't get as ill as I could have. And one statement was made by the ER doctor that I thought was quite interesting. He said to me that people don't die from COVID anymore. And I'm like, well, that's good to know. But there are still people dying from COVID. So that's not 100% true because I saw some statistics that came out. It's nowhere, 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 nowhere near the way it was when it first came out with all the millions of people that unfortunately passed away. So many people had people that they knew close to and what have you. I have to say I'm blessed. I don't think I know or knew anybody that passed away from COVID or any of my friends or acquaintances that had relatives or anybody close to them that passed away from COVID. So that part, now they've had COVID, but no one was sick enough where they actually expired. So I'm so thankful for that. And I'm thankful that if I had to get COVID, I got it during the time that it has gotten to the point where, as you said, people ain't dying from where you actually don't have to stay in the hospital until lights out, what have you. Um, so, oh yeah. So you say you're with the wine, but you're not with the wine, but you're eating Oreo cookies. Well, that's good. I don't have any Oreo cookies. I probably would join you. And Jackie, what were you saying about the Stella Rosa? Except the Stella Rosa Black. You don't like the Stella Rosa Black? I never had it. I've been a little leery. So that's interesting to know. So are you telling me you don't like the Stella Rosa Black? And if so, why? Because like I said, I haven't. That's one that I have not tried. I've thought about it, and every time I go to the wine store, I look at it and I pass on it because I'm like, know about this. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. So I haven't had Stella Rosa Black, but apparently you have and you don't like it. So tastes like grape Kool Aid. Well, I like grape Kool Aid. Oh no, I don't know. I don't know. If it tastes like grape Kool Aid, that's not so bad. That's not so bad. I can I had no idea what it tastes like, and I was thinking it was more on the red Merlot type vibe, and that's the main reason why I never got it because I was just thinking that no, this ain't gonna be good. I'm not gonna want this. I am not gonna want this. So I I have not had any. I have not had the Stella Rosa Black, but I've had quite a few of the other ones. And when I went into the store, they have this rose or Stella Stella Rosa rose, and I looked at the ingredients and stuff, and I started to get it, but then when it said it had a hint of roses, like roses, flower roses, I don't know about that either. I don't think I would like it. I don't know. So I haven't. If I wanted Kool Aid, you just go out and get you a pack. I heard that. I don't blame you. And I haven't had any Kool Aid or grape Kool Aid in years. I have not had Kool Aid since my kids were drinking Kool. I haven't had Kool Aid in a long time. I don't even. I just haven't had Kool Aid in a long time, so I don't think I would want to pay that much money for a bottle of grape Kool Aid. Even though I used to like grape Kool Aid, but the mixed berry, I'm trying to think, what does it remind me of? It's good. It's good. The one thing about the Stella Rosa wine, especially if you get the flavored ones, not the Oscar the Moscato, but the flavored ones, they don't to me taste like wine per se, which could be dangerous. Kind of like strawberry daiquiris, how they slip up on you because they taste so good, especially if they don't put a whole lot of. I made one a long time. What is it? Vodka? Strawberry daiquiri vodka? Yeah, I think so. If they don't put a whole lot of, is it rum? It's rum. I think it is. I haven't had one of them in a long time. I don't drink anymore. I drink wine. I'll drink a Bud Light lime, and the rest of the stuff I don't drink. I cannot drink margaritas anymore because the tequila makes me sick. I do like daiquiris and pina coladas and stuff like that, but I don't make them at home, and I don't go out to the places where you get them. And like if I go out to dinner and stuff, I don't buy the drinks and stuff like that. Depending on where I am and what I'm eating, I may buy some wine, a glass of wine, but I don't do the other stuff. So had I haven't had those foo drinks and fruity drinks and all that stuff in a long, long time. I'm kind of missing it. But those apple martinis and all of that stuff, the lemon drops and you name it, it's been a minute. Jackie, you said you haven't had Kool Aid in 45 plus years. I'm right there with you. It's probably been that long. Probably been that long. It's been a minute. I haven't had Kool Aid. It's been a minute, like I said. Like I tell everybody else, all my kids got AARP cards, so they not kids. My grandkids are grown. I have an 11-year-old great granddaughter, so I don't, and a brand new baby. Yay! But it's been a minute since the Kool Aid age comes from. I ain't buying it. That's too much sugar. Oh Lord Jesus. Nope, don't want that. But does anybody have any questions about hooping hats? Do you think that you can do it? Now, I know a lot of you don't have maybe the PR 1055, the PR series, so you can't use that particular system. But what I wanted to get across mainly, because I know the conversation was had several weeks back, where people were leery of doing hats in general, even on a single needle machine. Now, I personally have not done a cap on my single needle machine. I did buy a hoop that was supposed to be used to do caps, but it was in the very beginning of my hooping experience or my embroidery experience, and I could not figure out how to get it to work appropriately. I tried it maybe once, twice at the most, and I just gave up because I I wasn't doing hats anyway. So what was the point? I just wanted to learn how to do it, and I did not have my single needle machine very long before I graduated up to my multi needle machine. I think I had my single needle machine 6 months maybe before I decided to get the multi needle machine because I wanted to do what I wanted to do, and the single needle machine wasn't doing it for me because, as you all know, I love doing jacket backs. I love doing big designs. I love doing designs with multiple colors. I love to do all of the extravagant type designs and stuff like that. And I started off with a 4x4, and I quickly sent that back. I said, this ain't working. So I did get the SC 1900, that 4x4 and the 5x7, and that was a lot better. The 5x7, I could do a whole lot more with the 5x7, so I was quite pleased. But of course, I couldn't do jacket backs and stuff like that. But the main reason why I decided to go ahead and get a multi needle machine, my son and I were talking. He was watching me do a project because I was just showing him how to do, oh, this is fun. This is what we do. Isn't this cute? Blah blah blah. But I told him, I said, my biggest complaint is having to change the thread because I was doing these fancy designs with all these different colors. And so I'm constantly changing thread. And sometimes you put the thread on, you stitch 10 stitches, take that off, put another color on, and you got to turn around and put that same color back on and all that stuff. I thought that was ridiculous. So I was like, no, I need a multi-needle machine. And had I been able at the time and had the room, I would. I love my brother. It really was my first choice when I was reading about it and all the features and everything. I just got head over heels in love with the brother machine, with all the stuff that it does. But as I start watching more and more videos and stuff, I start desiring the Melco, and I still desire the Melco. I wanted a commercial machine. I wanted the big hoop. That's the main thing. The big hoop. That was the draw. The big hoop. And it had 16 needles. And I was like, yep, that's what I want. But I'm just as happy with my 10 needle machine. I do wish it had a bigger hoop. That's the only complaint. Because even with the 14 by 14 jumbo hoop, um, you don't get the 14 inches by 14 inches. And it's always a split design, and that can be a hit and miss and so forth and so on and stuff. So I would prefer a machine that you could put a big hoop on and it's going to fit that big design out. And that would be my dream machine, but I don't know if that's going to ever happen or not. So, hi, Evelyn. Don't worry about being late. We are still here chit chatting. I did do a little 19-minute video of hooping a cap, not the one I have on. This is the one that I did, this one and the one I had on yesterday. And I did a video, and the video's on my channel. And I did just a small portion of that video tonight on live. So you can catch up if you want to and look at the video, hopefully, if you're interested. Now, I've been seeing something about some pickles. What is this pickle thing that I'm missing out on? I love dill pickles and I buy dill pickles made with various flavors of Kool-Aid. My favorite is green. I've never heard of that. Uh, okay, and you say you were tired of changing the thread on your DM2 and then got the multimeter. Yeah. Hey, Andrea, thanks for joining us. Uh, nice design on the blue cap. Thank you. But yeah, I've never heard of flavored dill pickle. I love dill pickles too. I like the kosher spicy. The spice. They got the little heat in it and stuff. Oh my goodness. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Now I've never heard of the different. I'm back here with these dill pickles, so that was interesting to me. Dill pickles made with various flavors of Kool-Aid. That is where you buy that? I've never heard of that before, but that's interesting. Um, Jackie, you say you're interested in the hoop, and although I don't have a hat hoop, I do have the PR 1050X. Well, the hat hoop that I have will work on the 1050X, of course. Um, the Hoop Tech Gen X 2, you can also get that one for the PR 1050X. So there are different hooping systems, cap hooping systems out there that you can use. Now, I wanted the flat brim hoop system when I bought my machine because when I was talking to my salesperson and we were negotiating, you need to sweeten this pie here. And I told her I want this system with my machine. And because if I'm not mistaken, I think the package that I saw came with a cap hoop anyway. And I did not want the regular one. I didn't want the old one. I told her I wanted the new one because I had read about it. And from everything I read, it was supposed to be easier to use. So that was part of our negotiation. I don't want this one. I want this one over here. And so that's what I got. So I that's the only one I know. But I did not know what it cost because of course when they sell you your system, it comes in a bundle because mine came with the machine, it came with the cart, and it came with the cap system, and then it had that one price. It didn't, set up, delivery, and all that stuff was included because when I got my machine, they delivered it to my door. I was living in an apartment in Florida on the third floor. They did have elevators. And they came up with the machine already on the cart already put together, and they're rolling it down the hallway to my door and brought it into my apartment and made sure that, I knew how to set it up and do this, do that, and da da da, and so forth and so on before they left. They were very nice, and there was no extra charge for that. And I know there I had an experience with another company, and it definitely was not that smooth. Trust and believe me, it was not that smooth. There was some back and forth issues and phone calls about how this is going to be delivered to me because I live on the third floor, and you all talking about dropping it out here in the doggone parking lot. That's no, that ain't gonna work. So, so I was very happy and very appreciative that that was the service that they provided, and it didn't have any extra charges. Um, so, Jackie, you're in California. I was told what is it? Becky, you're like me. My poor baby sitting behind me is so neglected. When I was making face masks, I used her all the time because I was, well, I started off doing hoops thing on the machine, on my single needle machine. Then when I started making face masks and doing it, to sell and what have you, I would do the embroidery on the 10 needle, and then of course put it together on my single needle. So I was pretty much using the single needle more as a sewing machine. Every once in a while, I would do embroidery on it, something small or whatever. But if I can figure out a way to do something on my 10 needle machine, I choose to do it on my 10 needle machine. I feel like, and I know I'm neglecting my machine, and I really feel bad because she was so sweet to me. I love that machine. It's a good machine, but I don't like changing the thread, and that was the reason why I bumped up. That's the reason why I bumped up. So I have other machines besides her. I just don't have no room to put it out. I have a Genome, and I also have a surgeon machine that I definitely need to start using. I don't have anywhere to put it, but I need to figure that out because I want to do some things and I want to do it using my serger and my embroidery machine. But anyway, I will post a link. I believe that she is on YouTube. I don't know what that's about. So, um, okay, I did stick to you, Evelyn. And who else? Do a search on Kool Aid. I will. I go, and you're in California, so that might be a California thing. I don't know, but that's a new one to me. Kool Aid and pickles. Now, when I was a young girl, we used to eat, and I don't know if anybody else is familiar with this, but it's pretty much the same concept. We always put a peppermint stick down in our big dip. We got those big dill pickles, and we would put a peppermint stick down in there and let it get all juicy, 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 and that dill pickle juice and that peppermint, and you just kind of suck it out of there and ooh and eat. Ooh, that was so good. That was so good. So it might be the same concept because it was sweet and sour together. But yeah, anybody else ever had the peppermint and the dill pickle? If you've not had it, you need to give it a try. It's good. I haven't had that in a long time either. I hadn't even really thought about it until just now. But that was our go-to thing when I was a kid in school. We did the peppermint and the dill pickles, and it was peppermint stick and Jolly Ranchers in my pickle. Uh huh. Yep. Yeah, we from the same thing. That's why you do the Kool Aid pickles. But I don't remember putting Jolly Ranchers in there. But I probably did those green apple ones. That sounds real good in a pickle. But definitely did the peppermint stick. That definitely did. That was my sister's favorite snack. Mary said that. Yeah, so it's not okay. So it's not just me. It's probably a southern thing. I don't know, but I do know that that was during my time when I don't know if I told you guys, but when my I was born in St. Louis, and my mom passed away when I was 11, and we all moved. Me and my siblings moved to Mississippi to live with her mother, my grandmother. So we finished elementary. I was in the sixth grade. So from the sixth grade on up through college, I lived in Mississippi. And then when I got my first degree in college at my HBCU school, then I moved, and I had my kids and everything by that time. I moved to back to St. Louis, and that's when my kids grew up, and that's where they went to school and so forth and so on. And then when I discovered the company that hired me as a pharmaceutical rep, that's when I started traveling because I moved here, there, and everywhere because they would move me. different places and stuff. And ended up out this way, Virginia first, and went down to Florida for a few years. Came back up here to Maryland. That this was not planned because I wasn't planning on moving to Maryland, but I'm here. Not staying though. Not staying. I want to go back to Virginia to be honest about it. I'm not staying in Maryland. But been here for a few years, couple of years I guess. Yeah, about a couple of years. So yeah, pickles. I'm going to definitely look up the Kool-Aid pickles because that the green apple one sounds interesting to me. I don't know if I want a grape one, but the green apple sounds interesting. So I'm going to look that up and see about how that goes. So what else can we talk about? Everybody is comfortable with hooping hats. Now, those of you that don't have a multi-needle machine, have you done any caps? And if you have, do you mind sharing your experience? Where you are you able to do a nice design on it, and how easy is that? Because I was talking to Andrea that just came on earlier today, and she had mentioned that while back she did quite a few of them on one of her single needle machines, and she had bought this hooping system specifically for a single needle machine, and was able to do them. I know the hoop that I purchased, like I said, it didn't work for me. I couldn't, it just didn't work for me. And I still have it. It just didn't work for me. So I do know that they have other systems now that's different than the one that I have, which probably works a lot better. But of course, I don't have any reason to get it. So I haven't, but I have seen them on Amazon and different sites that sells those kinds of things. And I was like, okay, well, that's good because everybody doesn't have a multi-needle machine, and you should be able to hoop a hat if you want to. You probably will not be able to do a Richardson 112 because this 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 part up here, whatever they call this, is the name, but I can't think of what the name is. But anyway, this part up here is very stiff. It's not pliable. It's really stiff, and I ain't taking my head off. My head looks a mess, but it's very stiff, and it would be extremely difficult to do on a single needle machine. Now, as I mentioned, and it's on my video, I didn't have any trouble doing it on my multi needle machine at all. It's hooped and stitched just the same as the regular ball cap. And like I said, this one is not a very expensive cap at all, and it's real pliable. But I've also stitched on more expensive caps and have had the same positive result using my system. So, and the other thing is I use that hooping system pretty much right off the bat when I got my machine, and I was still brand new learning how to embroider because, like I said, I got my single needle machine. I don't remember exactly. I got it in 2020. Yeah, I got it in 2020, but I got it just before they announced the print. Okay, I got it in February. That's what it was. Like it was before the pandemic went crazy because I did not, a lot of people bought machines and stuff to do masks and stuff like that. I didn't get mine for that purpose because it wasn't the pandemic when I got mine. I got mine for pleasure and entertainment for myself. That's the only reason I got it. And then, all heck broke loose and all that kind of stuff. And so I had my machine in February, and if I'm not mistaken, I think I got my 10 meter machine in May or June, something along that line. Uh, I got a different machine, multimeter machine, in May, and I got my brother that next February. So I actually had my single meter machine a year before I got my brother's multimeter machine. But in between that time, I had a different multimeter machine that did not work out for me, and I didn't keep it. So, but yeah, I jumped straight out the gate. And the other thing that's interesting, that other machine that I had, I could not use that hooping system at all. I went through the training, I tried to do it, even during the training process, it did not work. So I never touched that thing again. When I got my brother machine and the brother hooping system, I went straight based up on the video and went straight in there because I looked at a video before I even got my machine because I looked at several videos about the machine and a lot of stuff because I wanted to be more knowledgeable on my second purchase. So I had looked at a whole bunch of stuff, so I was pretty well versed in a lot of the stuff that pertained to the machine. And so once I got the machine, one of the very first things I did was embroider a cap. And I put that thing on and did it with no problem, stitched out that hat with no problem at all. So it's that easy to use. It seems a little cumbersome when you first start, and I hadn't done a hat in years, but as you use it every day, it's not. It's not a big deal. It really is not a big deal. Now, I use the Durkee head hoop and it fits inside my 5x7. Okay. Durkee has, I did not know this either. When I was looking at a video about doing a straw hat, Durkee has a, Durkee has, excuse me, easy frames. I don't know if that's what they call them. the For single needle machines, just like they have the Durkee Easy frames for the multi needle machine. They now have Durkee Easy frames for your single needle machine, and they come as large as 8 by 13. I was looking at them the other day because I saw this video, and it was mentioned because I think the person was using it, and Dawn from Creative Applique was doing her demo on the straw hat, and she was using the Durkee Easy frame on her. I don't know what machine she was using. It wasn't a um, luminaire. I don't know what machine she was using, but it wasn't the luminaire. But anyway, she was using the Durkee Easy frame on her single needle machine. I was surprised because I didn't know Durkee had easy frames for single needle machines. And as Andrea was saying, they even had the hatchet. So when I looked at the, I went on to Durkee's site and I looked at what they had. Only thing I saw was the bundles, and the bundles were running you 252.95, so forth and so on. But they had sizes. If I was even to think about buying it, wasn't going to do me any good. I would have to probably call them up to see if I could get a single one because I can only do the 4x4 and the 5x7 or something small. I don't know what that two by something another little bitty um, hoop because I've never used it. But um, the bigger ones that they had won't work on my single needle machine, so I wouldn't need the bundle. That would be a waste of money and unnecessary for me. I was just looking at it. I was interested in the 4x4, 5x7. They did have it, although I don't need it because I do have magnetic frames for my uh, single needle machine, and it would do the exact same thing. I don't need to use the sticky paper. I can use my magnetic frame, and I have a 4x4 and I have a 5x7, and I got them off of Amazon, and I think they were running like $50 a piece, but that's what I have because I started doing that before I got my 10 needle machine. Because um, not only was the threading situation an issue for me, the hooping situation was an issue for me, which I mentioned in my video that I put up a few weeks back with hooping with arthritic hands, which I have. And I could never hoop a towel. And I know most people don't, most people float. But when I first started, the videos and things that I was looking at, people weren't floating. They were hooping those towels like it was about nothing. And I was like, okay, why can't I do it? I would spend 30, 40 minutes, no lie, just trying to hoop one thing. I could not hoop it. It was frustrating. It was so frustrating to me trying to hoop that I was really getting to the point where I'm not going to be doing any embroidery. This is not going to work out for me because I can't hoop. And when I discovered floating, one, and then when I discovered magnetic hoop, it was on like popcorn. Huh? I was like, okay, this works for me. I'm good now. I can now participate because the hooping, and I can hoop thin material, but when you're trying to hoop denim, when you're trying to hoop a towel, that it just wasn't working. And I know that Eve from Baby's Booty, in her videos and stuff, she was telling people that were new to embroidery and you're just starting out, go to one of the big box stores and buy the cheap bundles of towels and practice on the towels with your embroidery. Because you don't want to spend a lot of money wasting up material and stuff and towels you can always use. You know, you mess, which I still have several towels that I messed up and I use them. You know, it's like why get rid of? And also, you know, you mess up a shirt or whatever, don't throw it away. Stitch on the other side or tail in or whatever, because you're learning. So she gave us good advice about how to learn how to do embroidery and not waste a lot of money. And but back to the towels, they were becoming difficult to hoop, and it was frustrating for me. And I had to find a different way to do it, and I did. So I love magnetic hoops of any kind. I love the Dirty Easy frame, even though the sticky stabilizer gets on my nerves because you got to get it off, but that's okay. It's no big deal. I just like the fact that you have the opportunity to stitch on things that you normally wouldn't be able to stitch on using a regular hoop that you have to put together, that sandwich situation. So now the industry has definitely come up with realizing rather that they needed to come up with other ways to make it easier for people to do any hooping. Okay, Evelyn, you broke a single needle hoop trying to hoop. You broke the hoop? I haven't broken a hoop, but I get you. I get you. I understand because that was, whew, Lord, I would be so frustrated. and so tired because I could not figure out what am I doing wrong. I would loosen it up as much as I could loosen it up. Still could not. I couldn't do it, and I didn't have or didn't know anything about John Deere's hooping thing that he has with the little magnetic pegs or whatever, and you put the hoop in between there, and the hoop is not supposed to move, so it gives you um, more stability. I don't know if that works because I don't have that system, but I've seen him advertises and stuff. I did get the silicone mat that's supposed to keep it from slipping, and it did help a little. I also bought something else that did not work. I don't even remember what it is. I don't even think I still have that thing because it was junk. Some kind of thing that you're supposed to put your hoop in and hoop and it didn't work. But I was looking for a way to figure out. It's got to be a way to hoop thick material without killing yourself and without breaking the hoop. So you got one up on me. I did not break a hoop, but I almost broke my arm, broke my hand. And you discovered floating. Yeah, yeah. I discovered floating too. And I heard so much about the cons, pro and cons of floating, and a lot of the so-called experts were saying don't float because you're not getting that tight drum, where everything is tight, and so your stitches may not hold up well, may not stitch well and stuff. So I was leery about that because I did a lot of reading and I looked at tons of videos, various people to learn, and I would try to take in the information. And some of the stuff that they would tell you, there were some sites that weren't that good and they weren't giving you good information and stuff. And then there were some sites that I felt comfortable with, that I felt like that they were doing, giving you the best information or the industry standard. That's kind of how I like to roll. I like to stay within the industry standards of doing stuff because people that have been doing this for years and they do it for a living and they go around teaching people and so forth and so on, you kind of want to listen to them. So that's why some of the bad habits I did not pick up because I did not want to get into doing things haphazardly. I want to do things right because I want my stuff to be good, even if I'm not selling it. If I'm doing it for myself or doing it as a gift or whatever the situation is, I want my stuff to look good and I want it to last. So I don't want to take any shortcuts and stuff. So I was a little leery about floating, even though I have floated. And I tell you, sometimes that's the way you gotta go. But I prefer, now that I have the easy frames, I prefer, and that's still floating. To be honest about it, that's what it is. It's still floating. You're just using that sticky stabilizer, and it would be so good if they had sticky stabilizer that did not stick to your hoop. And I did get those clips. Somebody that was on here a few weeks back mentioned those clips that you can get. You can get them from Amazon. Don't remember the name of the clip, but I bought some. I got them. I haven't tried them yet. But and I thought about it when I was hooping my bucket hat, but I I might be able to use it. I don't know. I'll see tomorrow when I actually try to do it. But I did get some. I pinned, and I'll tell you all about this tomorrow. Why I pinned it, and hopefully I'm going to be able to do it that way. Um, But that's what I'm doing with the bucket hat. The bucket hat is not going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be. Nothing's ever easy. I thought it was going to be a breeze, no big deal. And I was like, this is not as easy as I thought it was because the hooping part is not. The hooping part is, yeah, interesting. Yeah. But I am using my easy front and all of that. And Karen, you're saying, you're sorry. Yeah. I haven't broken the hoop either. That's a good one. That's pretty good. But I can definitely understand how that could happen because you put your entire might, your weight, your strength, everything, trying to get that darn thing hoop, and it won't hoop to save your neck. That made no sense. And Karen, you said you always floated. You always floated, especially towels. Now I do so much in the hoop, bags and towels, etc. Yeah. What bags and towels do you do in the hoop? I do the little in the hoop bags and stuff that the different designs and stuff. Because I did two of them. I got videos of two of them that I just did a couple of weeks ago in the hoop little purses, and I know I have. I'm gonna show that to you guys. It is interesting how when you think you know where something is because you just saw it, and then when you go back to get it, you can't find it. But I'm gonna show it to you guys next week. But this is the little purse that Andrew and I were making back when I was still in Florida, and we were just learning how to do them. And it's in the Hoop Project. It's a purse. It's lined and everything. And Disorderly Thread is the site that sells these designs. And they're really fun and they're really cute to do. But what I wanted to do is I've done several of them. I've done the popcorn bag. I did the slot machine bag. I gave that to my cousin, so I don't have that. I did hot hot dog popcorn shoe and the slot machine and something else. I did several, and I have two more cut out that I haven't done yet. So once I learned, because the first, oh, and I did another purse like that. Well, actually, I've done several of them because I did one for my cousin's granddaughter, and then I did one for my daughter, and so I've done some of them, several of them. But the first time I did them, OMG, the first one was a hot mess. It was a hot mess. But once I understood the instruction, that was the biggest problem. I did not understand the instruction and it made no sense to me. But once I understood the instruction, I realized it wasn't hard. It takes a long time. It's cumbersome. But because we were just thinking, Andrea and I, when we were talking about making them to sell, we would have to charge $1 billion for it because of the time and effort that goes into it. But once I learned how to do it, they were fun. And like I said, I did several of them. I have two more cut out, and I was looking at the site the other day, and I saw a couple other ones that I wanted to do because I did the hot dog, I did the popcorn, I did the French fries. That's what it was. I couldn't remember. I did the hot dog, the French fries, the popcorn, and I said I wanted to do the hamburger. Because we got a hamburger. I can have hamburger, French fries, and hot dog. And then they got the Starbucks cup and all of that stuff. So they got so many of the different things on there, and they're cute. They're fun. And Evelyn, you say I do cosmetic bags with the Jerky Easy frame, and oh well, thank you. The bag is really cute, and I'm going to find those other ones because they're here. I saw them not very long ago, and I thought they probably are where I'm looking. I'm just overlooking them for some crazy reason. I don't know, but I had them all together, and yeah, the little tennis shoe thing is really cute. People love these. They love these because I had other people asking me to do those for them. And purse, wallet from Embroidery Garden, um, designed by Juju and Disorderly Threads, and you've done a bunch of those, yeah. And Becky, you said that's what you do too. It's about the I'm about to do the sneaker purse too. Okay. And Marissa, I have the shoe design, but haven't done it yet. We should do a Zoom class and do it. Well, the Zoom class will probably last a couple hours because I was going to do a tutorial when I first did it, and I tried to do that tutorial, and that thing kept going on and on and on and on. I said, this is way too long. I'm not, it's too much. Now there is two tutorials that I've seen. One was on a single needle machine, and this was Pop and something. I can't remember this site. But this lady did the sneaker purse on a single needle machine, and she was very clear and very thorough, and it helped me to understand the instructions because you do get written instructions with pictures and everything, but it just wasn't clicking in my head. I didn't understand what it was. Now that I've done several other purses in the hoop things, I understand and makes sense to me now. But this was way back in the beginning. You know how you get a little toy and then you jump up and think you can do it. You know, I got my machine and I just knew I could do everything, and I was trying to do everything, and I didn't know enough about embroidery to do everything. So some things took me a little while to do. So that's when I first started doing those. But they're 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 cute. But anyway, she did it. It was very thorough, very helpful, helped me to understand, and then I was able to do the person and get it done correctly because the first one was a hot mess. I promise you, it was a disaster. And the other video that I looked at was done on a multimeter machine, and that was useless. I don't remember who did it, so I can't even address that. I just happened to see it, thought it was going to be helpful because I was doing mine on the multimeter machine, and it was not helpful at all. And you know, it just was not helpful. But back to you, Marissa. That may be a good idea. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think we have to do a Zoom. I think we can do it right here on on StreamYard because on here I can bring in multiple people. So it just depends upon how many people want to do it would make the difference. And um, then can make a decision whether or not we want to do a Zoom or do it on StreamYard or whatever. But in all honesty, I'm not 100% sure this would be a good project to do on a Zoom. And if we did it, we definitely have to make sure everything is cut out and ready to go. Your thread and stuff is set up. If you have a multi-needle machine, get it all set up. If not, line up all your colors and stuff and what have you, because it is time consuming. It definitely is time consuming. Now, um, Andrew, you said we can do a mug rug as a Zoom class. Yeah, we could do that because they aren't always that time consuming. They're not as time consuming as this bag is. But let's think about it. And what I will do on my end is see how long it takes to do a mug rug. And because I mean, you can do mug rugs, you can do coasters. There's all kinds of little things that you can do on a Zoom thing as as a class if we want to do. Because I've done coasters and all that kind of stuff. Marissa, I just did a cinnamon roll mug rug and it was fun. I I saw a cinnamon roll. Who I saw a cinnamon roll mug rug, and who did you get it from? Because I want to know if it's the same one that I saw. I didn't get it, but I saw it. I didn't watch the video. I just happened to be browsing and I saw that, and I was like, oh, that looks cute. So let me know who you got the design and all that kind of stuff, so we can think about it. But yeah, I did see a cinnamon roll mug rug, and it was cute. It was really cute. And like I was saying, as Andrea mentioned, a mug rug would not be nowhere as difficult as this first. And okay, Andrea, OML. That's where I saw it. It was OML. It was fun and affordable and fast. Okay, that's exactly where. Because I knew it was O something. I was thinking to myself, but that's exactly where I saw it. OML. Yep, that is where I saw it. And Andrea, you saw the cinnamon roll on Park on the Porch. Is that what you're saying? Because I don't go. Does Parker on the Porch is not on YouTube? I don't think, because I've never seen anything unless I went on their site. Now, OML, of course, is on YouTube, so it's easy to find. And that's the reason why I did see this cinnamon roll. So they are on YouTube. Okay, I have to look them up. And Karen, you said I have not made the cinnamon roll mug rug. I would cause it would cost me to bake. It ain't gonna make me bake. I'm not a baker. It ain't gonna make me bake. I bake when I have to. I am not the baker, but Miss Andrea is. She makes one. She made wonderful, wonderful cake. She don't do it no more, but she does fantastic. I've seen the stuff that she's doing, and they are outstanding. Um, she's coming to Maryland in August to teach the class. What class, Andrea? Oh, speaking of class, Jeanette is, and I don't know if Jeanette is okay. I did see one of her videos. I believe she put out one last week, but her dad is sick, so I haven't seen her She did look at my video. She looked at my live after the live. She missed the live, so I guess she's okay. Cause she hasn't been on here, and I know that she's dealing with her dad and everything like that. But she and who else was supposed to be uh, getting us the information about the meeting that's going to be in Fredericksburg, Virginia. I think it's in September, so we still have time. I just don't want it to slip by because it was several of us that said we wanted to get together and go. And I think that that would be an excellent outing. It would be so much fun for us to have a meet and greet and get to know each other personally and go to this meeting that's going to be in, I believe it's in September in Fredericksburg, Virginia. So hopefully oh, did he? Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry to hear that. Mm, yeah. Do you know when? Because I kind of I had that feeling that it was something going on that was not well. And being a nurse and the majority of my hospital nursing experience has been in oncology. And I know things have changed since 30 plus years ago, but leukemia, yeah, I don't know. Oh, it was posted last night. Okay. All right. I didn't see it. I have not seen it. But thanks for letting us know. But yeah. Oh my God. I hate that. I'm so sorry to hear that. It's gonna be hard on the girls, but it's gonna be so hard on their moms. It's gonna be so hard on their moms. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is so sad. I hate to hear that. I hate to hear that. And what is this pic of a ring of her family's hands together? Is that something that she put out? I don't know, but that's a bummer. That is a bummer. Yeah, definitely. Let's all pray for her and her family that they were hoping so much that he would, you know, go into remission. But I personally have not known my best girlfriend husband, first husband, um, had leukemia, and he fought through it, but you know, he didn't win the battle, and it wasn't a long stretch. And like I said, I worked in oncology, and I saw so many people that just did not do well. But medicine has gotten a lot better, and people do overcome certain things. So I was very hopeful for her, but yeah, yeah, I am so sorry to hear that. So sorry to hear that. Well, ladies, it is getting late. I did not realize how late it was. We just been chit chat, and it's already been 2 hours and 20 minutes since we've been on here. So we've had a good talk, and I don't know yet what next week's topic is going to be. If you guys have any thoughts or any suggestions, you can pop that in right away, or go into the community page on my channel, because the community page. Hey, Trisha, girl, obviously you've been busy, but I do appreciate you stopping in. I do appreciate you stopping in, and thank you, Jackie. Yeah, we did have a good discussion. So as I was saying, I'm going to go ahead and sign off because it's been a while. We've been on here quite a while. But if you have any suggestions for next week, pop it in the community page and on my channel. There's a community page. Some of you know where that is because I got messages and stuff from. But let me know, and I'll think of something, and I will get that information out. So good night, everybody. Have a good rest of your week. Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it, and I will talk to you again next week. Take care.